What's up guys, it's Lord Botha here for another video, and Chinese gaming giant Tencent has been put on a blacklist by the United States government. This comes to us from the New York Times. Pentagon adds Chinese social media giant to military blacklist. The Pentagon on Monday labeled Tencent, the Chinese social media and gaming giant, as a Chinese military business operating in the United States, the latest action in an escalating series of retaliatory moves between the world's two superpowers. Tencent shares in the United States plunged by nearly 10% after the decision by the Defense Department, which also targeted Chinese battery and drone and shipping companies. Putting Tencent on the list was, quote, clearly a mistake, a spokeswoman for the company said in an email statement. "We're not a military company or supplier." Yeah, but you do actually work with the government. Every Chinese company is required to have at least one person that works for the Chinese government actually in their board, actually working with the company. They are quite literally, as a Chinese company, required to be part of the state. There's no fully private companies in China. Every private company in China does work with the government. That's part of their communist requirements. And whatever facade of democracy they want to put on in China, everybody knows that it is a military, hard power enforced dictatorship. They can pretend to be a democracy as much as they want. Everybody knows that the military runs everything, and they all answer to Xi. Tencent also said that the listing would have, quote, no impact on our business, and that it would work with the Department of Defense to address any misunderstanding. Now, this I believe to be actually half true. Other than the, shares plunging 10% just in the United States, I don't think this is going to have a huge impact financially right now with Tencent. However, this might harm its ability to have long-term gains and expansions within the United States to generate revenue. Essentially, it will hurt their futures, which is something they may be relying on when it comes to the idea of acquisitions. Particularly, the potentiality for Tencent to buy out the remaining shares or buy the majority of companies they already have investments in, like Ubisoft. And that's really how this ties back into gaming. As we all know, Ubisoft has been going through it. Tencent is a very small minority partner in the actual gaming development business, and they are almost a 50-50 partner, I believe, with the parent company of Ubisoft. And they have been very vocal about the idea of taking the company private or potentially buying out the Gilmont family to own the vast majority of Ubisoft. The only thing that's really been keeping them from doing that is the fact that the Gilmont family still wants to have creative control, I guess, or whatever, of the company, which seems a little bit asinine to me. Why would you buy the rest of the company as Tencent and then keep the Yabos who have been screwing up the company in charge? Nevertheless, there's been heavy talk about Tencent potentially encouraging the Gilmont family and the rest of the shareholders to take the company private, and the strong potential that Tencent was the front runner to buy out Ubisoft. This classification and actual harm to their business, whether or not they want to claim it's going to actually harm their long-term futures, I think it is, may throw a monkey wrench into that possibility, which then puts even more pressure on Assassin's Creed Shadows to perform well in hopes to save Ubisoft as a company, since they don't have Daddy Tencent apparently to bail them out. And if Tencent can't bail them out, well, that means that if Assassin's Creed Shadows fails and Ubisoft continues to slip down, we could be looking at a dissolving of Ubisoft or a potential buyout from a third party. Maybe even, Microsoft, like I've always been talking about, or any number of other people. Or they could just let the entire company go belly up and just buy IPs off of them in the fire sale. Anyway, I think this puts a big hiccup potentially into the plans of Tencent to try to buy out Ubisoft, and it makes the already very interesting to watch launch of Assassin's Creed Shadows even more interesting to watch. But those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go ahead and leave them in the comments. If you like this video, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, appreciate you watching all of it. And we'll talk to you again later.